So my name is Magnus Shipinski, and I would like to be a film director. The idea of always wanting to be a filmmaker was always there, but I wasn't inspired by movies to make, I wasn't inspired by specific movies to want to become a director, but once I decided I wanted to be a director, that's when I saw movies and I was inspired on how I'd want to make them. And inspiration by people like M. Night Shyamalan, who grew up and went to film school and made his first really successful movie being The Sixth Sense, or Sam Raimi, who went off with his friends and made The Evil Dead on a super low budget. A lot of independent and small movies that became bigger like that. That was something that inspired me, because it was this idea that someone could make a movie and they could go from being no one knows from filmmaking, and they come up with an idea and they have this will and this desire to make a movie, and all of a sudden it's a movie that people talk to casually in conversations. That type of thing inspired me quite a lot, is that idea of anything you can do, if you do it right, can absolutely become something that people will know, especially if it's a small or independent movie. If you put in the effort and you make something that's really good, it doesn't matter what your budget was, it doesn't matter all that things. If people see it and they realize it's something good, then it's going to wind up being noticed and whatnot. I always enjoyed performing as well. And so in fifth grade, I did the high school musical because they needed kids from the elementary school to be in it. Then I did it again in eighth grade as they needed eighth graders for it, and then once I got to high school, I continued to be a part of it, and I was an actor. So while I wasn't the one directing it, I was thinking from that actor perspective. I wanted to have how actors think and whatnot. So I did that a lot, just to get experience with working with actors, working with how it would work to come up with a character and to just go into that. So I did that. On top of that, I also took some creative writing classes in high school, because I wanted to try and refine my ability as a writer when it comes to coming up with scripts and stuff. So I decided to take creative writing, and while it wasn't script writing and it was short stories, it still gave me that hands-on writing experience. And I had the digital animation class, and so just small little things adding to the skill set. I think a lot in a post-production sense, and that may not be the best way to do it, but for me, I try and think of that. That's just because that's where a lot of my early stuff came from, is coming from editing and doing that type of stuff. Not to mention that I love watching movies, and I watch movies all the time, so I'm always seeing the end result of how things happen. So I'm just kind of thinking of, all right, this is where this happened, this clip, and right here, and all right, this is the perfect opportunity to cut to that, and whatever. So when it comes to that type of thing, I'm trying to, while I'm making and working with someone, I usually am thinking in that regard, but even if so, I'm not the one that will be editing it. It's always something in the back of my mind, for sure. And I really think that when you have a really good actor, that is one of the biggest parts of making that movie. I mean, there's a reason why we have Oscars for best portrayal of movies. We have best actors, best actresses, all that. It's because without them, you couldn't tell the same story, because it wouldn't have the same resonance if you just had nothing happen. They're the reason we feel the emotions, because you as an audience member are feeling the same thing that they're feeling, or you're feeling a specific way about what they're doing, and that is from the way that they are portraying it. So because of that, actors are one of the most important parts of making a movie, and like I said, respect them to their very core. It's a very difficult job at times, and because of that, I think that it's an important part of filmmaking. And like I said, I really like acting. I would gladly, partake in it myself, but I also like looking at how to try and help other actors get that end result that we're looking for. I like working with new people, because you might find someone that you really work with really well. I've met people in film school that I'd love to continue to work with, but at the same time, if you find people that you know that you work well with, I think it's a good thing to try and stick with those people as well, while also still potentially adding new people and just expanding that. But especially in the early days while you're filmmaking, learning to work with new people, very important. Once you become a big film director and you get to make all those big decisions, like obviously you get to pick whoever you want and stuff. But in the early days, it's important to work with as many people as you can, because you just need to learn to work with those different work styles, and so that you learn new people, learn new way that things work, and that way you can find the way that you really want to refine the way that you make your stuff. And I'm glad that everything keeps getting better as it goes on, because sometimes things don't just keep getting better and better and better. And so because of that, I'm glad that at this point in time, it's something that's just going to, it's been just progressively getting better. And so at this point in time, yes, I'm happy with where I am. I'm happy with what school I go to. I'm happy with where I'm heading in the right direction when it comes to working on the projects and the goals that I'm trying to achieve. And I think that it's something that hopefully will only keep getting better as time goes on.